Start whenever you'd like.
I guess it's, good morning. It's Councillor Connie Brothers, Councillor of Revelstoke, and first I'd like to thank David Rooney for giving us the opportunity of giving our little 5-minute piece periodically after council meetings. It's Wednesday, August the 5th. It's a beautiful day in Revelstoke, another beautiful day in Revelstoke. We have a lot to be grateful for in this community, not only for what we have, but for all of the opportunities that we have. And I know most people who live in Revelstoke understand that, but sometimes it's good that we remind ourselves of all of the things we have. So today what I'd like to talk about is all of the good things that we have going for us, and what's been happening, the positive things that have been happening in Revelstoke in the last few months. Some of them are related to City Council, directly and indirectly, and some of them aren't, but I think they're all benefits for the city and things that we have to look forward to. So the first thing is the Big Eddy Waterworks grant, and that was just announced last weekend. It's a $3.5 million grant for the purposes of upgrading the Big Eddy Waterworks system. It's for water supply, water treatment, storage, and the distribution system. And this should help solve the problems that you've probably all heard about in the Big Eddy with respect to their water system development and that type of thing. This is a huge, huge benefit to this community. $3.5 million grant, and it can only be used for this particular purpose. So hopefully this will carry through. But if we didn't have this grant, we would have to borrow this money, and that would be a huge undertaking for this city, because the work has to be done in any event. So really be grateful. We have to be grateful for the $3.5 million grant. The next thing is highway issues, and I think some credit has to be given to Mayor McKee on this. Is over the winter and the last few months, you've probably heard that he has been working diligently to try and deal with all of the highway issues that we have, not only with the accidents, but also with the congestion and you know, the twinning of the highway and that type of thing. There are two recent highway projects that affect Revelstoke, and we can't say that Mayor McKee has been the only source of having these come to fruition, but certainly his involvement and his efforts couldn't have hurt. So the first one is the highway. It was announced about a month and a half ago. It was the highway avalanche mitigation system at Three Valley Gap. Up until now, we've had to send out helicopters to drop charges to instigate avalanches and clear the highway. But now we're going to have a remote control system, and that's coming from the province. We also have 20 new digital variable signs along the highway. And that's important because the highway speed signs have been increased to 100 kilometers an hour around Revelstoke. People are concerned about that, especially given the weather conditions. So these variable signs hopefully will improve that situation in the event that there is an accident or there is serious weather conditions. Then the variable speed will reduce the speed of the highway. Second thing is, it was just announced again this past weekend. We got $35 million in, I think it's provincial and federal funding. They're going to twin the highway just east of Revelstoke, about 40 kilometers east of highway. They're going to east of Revelstoke. They're going to twin it for about 2.5 kilometers. It's in and around the Illecillewaet brake check system, or station, I should say. And this will double the capacity of the brake station and as well the twinning. So that's a great benefit for Revelstoke because we are concerned about the gradual twinning of the highway. It's another step in the whole process. It will help with highway traffic, and it will help with the traffic flows. So that's another great thing. At Council, there seems to be quite a bit of development going on around in terms of just people not only building houses, but also doing renovations and substantial renovations to their houses. I think this is a reflection that people are feeling comfortable about Revelstoke, about the economic situation in Revelstoke, so they feel comfortable enough to invest that kind of money in their own homes. I think it's just a great indication of where we are in Revelstoke and how things are going along. People are feeling positive about the community and what's happening here. Next thing is tourism and infrastructure funds. I don't feel we speak enough about this particular pool of funds that we have. And so I just wanted to comment about it. We are a resort community. I think we're one of either 10 or 15 communities in the province that gets extra funding for our tourism and infrastructure. And we also have a 2% tax that we get from the hotel accommodation. And it results in a pool of funds that we are lucky enough to be able to use for tourism and infrastructure in many, many projects. I can't tell you all of the projects that have occurred, but some of them are, for example, the gardens at the Visual Arts Center. There was a contribution from this pool of funds for that. There's upgrades and signage at the Performing Arts Center. There's been contributions for trails in and around Revelstoke, not only the motorbike trails, but also the bicycle trails, and many, many, many projects. And we're very fortunate to have this pool of funds in order to do these projects. And the last thing I want to talk about is a potential future good news project. Parks and Recreation is a committee that I'm on. Aaron Orlando chairs it. One of our top priorities is development of trails around the community. A lot of people are very, very interested in this project, and we have, as we understand it, bits and pieces of trails all throughout the city and the community. And what we're trying to do is figure out where these bits and pieces are and linking them up so that we have a system of trails. It's a huge undertaking. It can't be done overnight. It involves not only Parks and Recreation, but it also involves planning, and it also involves engineering. But we want to start on this project because it is a top priority. What we'd like to do is find a way of starting the project, spearheading it, getting all of the interest groups involved. And so you should stay tuned on that one, because that's going to move and groove in the future. And the only thing I'd like to say is hope you enjoy your summer and the rest of your summer. Thanks.